Thank you, Secretary Russell. So we've listed only one person on the human rights grounds on that list. I wonder why we aren't using this tool to greater effect. It just seems that the balance is out of skew, given what's at stake and given the magnitude of the human rights abuses.
Well, Mr. Chairman, we work closely with our colleagues in the Treasury Department and in the intelligence community, as well as, of course, through our embassy and our activist ambassador in Rangoon, Derek Mitchell, to try to identify bad actors, including human rights violators, and develop legally viable cases for designation. We are actively on the hunt for candidates and for evidence that will be adequate legally to list.
Let me ask you another question then, and that has to do with safe zones. You know, activists pushed for safe zones in Darfur and in South Sudan. That was the concept, where places people could go to escape either Bashir's aerial bombardment or to escape the Janjaweed. And you have the same debate going on in Syria today. Could we create safe zones to protect civilian populations from carpet bombing? And in that case, done by Assad, by his regime. This is being suggested today in terms of Rakhine State. You've got a state here where this minority population is persecuted, and we don't have access for non-governmental organizations, for humanitarian groups that want to come in and provide services for people that are in crisis. Is this a viable option in Burma? What steps would be needed to set up that safe zone for the Rohingya inside of Burma? Those were questions I was going to ask you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's important to take as our starting point that Rakhine State, as poor and as desperate as it is not a war zone. And our strategy focuses on pushing the government of the Union of Myanmar, the government of Burma, to fulfill its responsibilities to its own people. The people in Burma deserve the full protection of the government, both at the local level and at the national level. That's what we are pushing for. The concern that I would have with safe zones per se is the risk of segregation. All people in Burma, all people in Rakhine State deserve to have their personal safety and security protected. There is, Mr. Chairman, significant dialogue now between the two communities. There is a process by which the Rohingyas in the IDP camps are being assisted in returning safely, securely to their hometowns. I believe they don't want to be segregated. They want to be integrated, and that's the direction that we are and should be pushing.
Well, here's the problem. As I talk to representatives of humanitarian organizations, of course, Doctors Without Borders was pushed out. But the argument is that that government is not doing that. It's not protecting religious minorities. So if you can have a carve-out of an area where traditionally they have lived there for generations, where the NGO community can go, that's better than state-sponsored attacks where the police look the other way. Anyway, I just wonder when they'll be reintegrated into Burmese society. Is the government there giving you some indication? And I assume you're actively pushing for integration, right?
Yes, we are. We are pushing hard for the safety of the Rohingya, the full access of humanitarian agencies, and Doctors Without Borders and some of the Margans or some of the major NGOs have been allowed to operate again.
Well, thank you. I'm out of time, but thank you again, Mr. Chairman.